Holy cow. It's getting absolutely insane in here. This remodel is taking over. I want to talk before I head to the remodel again about what's going on with Ford Motor Company. Ford is shutting down factories right now. This is very important because this is part of a trade war that not a lot of people think about. And this is something that we need to think about as American citizens, because if we don't have access to specific materials, and this is why I'm such a proponent of silver, we could be in a lot of trouble, especially rare earths. So let's dive into this. It says right here, this is out of the U.S. Sun, rare issue. Ford is forced to immediately shut down factories and halt car production as the CEO admits day-to-day struggle for the brand. It says Ford, just curious. I'm not driving a Ford. I used to drive a Ford. I drove Ford F-350 for like 13 years. Are you guys Ford, Chevy, or GMC guys? Or just Ford or Chevy? Just type it down below. Ford CEO has revealed that the brand was forced to shut down some of its factories thanks to an industry-wide issue plaguing automakers. Jump on in. It's okay. All right, so Mrs. Ninja is hanging out. We're going to work on the old house. All right. It says here, the 63-year-old CEO made the admission on Friday when he spoke about supply chain issues stemming from America's tense trade relations with China. Ford and other U.S. auto brands are heavily reliant on the rival nation to get rare earth minerals, which are essential to car production. Look, this comes down to one thing. Our economy, our companies are not prepared. And the truth is, Ford is the actual reason. Ford created the assembly line. Ford created the just-in-time system. Just in time. We got the parts just in time to roll off the assembly line. And guess what? It's biting them in the butt. And companies need to be more prepared. Our country needs to be more prepared with strategic stocks of precious metals, of U.S. rare earth metals. Because look at what's happening. Can you imagine if China moves in and takes Taiwan and we don't have the ability to create enough semiconductors in our country? What would happen to our production rate, but also our actual economy? It would collapse. It would collapse because of a panic that would ensue because people would be exiting the stock market in things like Ford, chip makers, things like that. It would cause a cascading down of stocks, meaning that companies could not borrow more money at a good rate. They would lose credit ratings, all this kind of stuff. It all turns into a cascading effect, which brings me to a point, and this is actually totally off topic, but this emergency sleeping bag I'm talking about that I bought, it's like a foil bag. I was just reading this morning how a man in Texas lost his life. He froze to death in his home. And as a firefighter, I'm not joking. This is less than 18 bucks I paid for this thing. I have it in my emergency go bag here in my car because I live where it snows. But this man did not live where it snows. He lost power for 3 days. And what this does, it's like a foil bag almost. During an emergency, you wrap it around your body and it insulates you and keeps the heat inside, like what you do inside when you're trying to keep food warm. You know, you cover it up and you keep that thermal barrier. This is different than a blanket. And most people don't understand that. So I highly suggest you check this out. There's a link down below and they've got a sale they're running on them right now. And the more you buy, the cheaper they are. So honestly, it's so small. Look at my hand, it feels so big. This would be a great stocking stuffer for Christmas. All right, going back to Ford. It says here when, President Trump sparked a tit-for-tat trade war. I love how they love to blame him, but this has to happen. We have to do this. We're taxing our citizens so much to the brink of collapse, and yet we're letting all these other economies just hit the windfall. I think that's disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting. And so we need to do this. We need fair trade. Do me a favor, type 1 if this is what you voted for and you agree with that. We need fair trade. But this could be the greatest wake-up call for American companies going, hey, you know what? The just-in-time doesn't work. Now, one other thing that most people don't understand. Oh, gosh, please stick with me here and think about it this way. How many of you, type yes or no, understand that the government taxes businesses on excess inventory? Did you know that? Type yes or no if you know that or you didn't. Now think about this. This is another heinous thing that I think is disgusting. Another reason why we're so reliant on these other countries is because our government has set it up to where they want to destroy um, uh, preparedness. Why? Because once again, that would give us it would lead to more reliance on the government. All right, and I believe this is I believe a truly set up situation a long time ago by lawmakers. And so what they do is they do not allow companies to buy inventory. Now they would tell you it's like an anti-money monopoly rule or reason where companies cannot buy up excess inventory. But there should be a time amount. No, you know what? It's totally okay, and we will not fine you if we will not tax you if you're holding up to, let's say, a year's worth of supply. A year's worth of supply. No, I teach this all the time that everybody needs to have an emergency account, a savings account, where you have 6 months to a year worth of emergency money to pay all of your bills. If you were to lose your job, you wouldn't lose your mind because you're like, okay, I've got a year to contemplate, to retrain, to rethink things. And that leads to absolute and utter success. Why aren't we allowing our companies to do that? Ford is currently shutting down factories right now as we speak. Here, let's do this. This is what the CEO says. Farley has revealed that the trade issue has had devastating effects on the iconic American brand. He said it's day to day. He said we have had to shut down factories. It's hand to mouth right now. Well, you know what? Ford wouldn't be in that situation if they had a year's worth of supply. They had the rare earths metals, they had the materials. We can weather this storm. As a matter of fact, they would be crushing it. You want to know why? Because it's real simple. If Ford isn't prepared and they tout the on-time delivery and the system that they've been using forever to sell all that to their shareholders, we're running lean and mean, buy our stock. Well, now they're shutting down factories, meaning they don't have as many vehicles. What if another company like Chevy comes in and goes, we were prepared, so we'll sell our trucks, and what we'll do is we'll mark them down a little bit, and as Ford's jacking up the price, and we're going to steal customers from them pretty much forever. See, this is, as a company owner, you need to be thinking like this. We need to be more prepared. So I'll tell you what, the day I set up my go bag was a big deal. And something like this, I bought myself. I thought it was so cool. I reached out to the owner and I said, hey, let me help you sell these things. And he's a Christian entrepreneur that wants to save children from slavery. And he's doing all kinds of cool stuff with it. Cool company. I know him personally. I highly suggest you check this out. It's just a really cool. Here, let me open it up. It's just all rolled up really nice. It's like a special bag. And as a firefighter, I know how important this is, where it wraps right around your body real tight, and then it keeps that heat in case of emergency. And one night last year, when we were stuck in that snowstorm, I started thinking, I didn't say it to my wife and my children, but I'm like, oh, this could get bad really quick. And so I'm glad I had one, but the scary thing is I only had one. So I need to go and get even more of them. So remind me to go buy more. All right. Thank you so much for watching The Economic Ninja. Oh, the link's down below if you want, and check out that sale. The Economic Ninja is out.